Yeah, you might have to use the button, Nathan, not the pad. I don't think you can click. There we go.
Float in water? Background info. Density is defined as mass per unit of volume. When we dissolve salt in water, it makes it heavier, or more dense. This is why objects flow better in salt water than in fresh water. Hypothesis. I think that the egg will float when I add salt to the water. Equipment. 1 raw egg, salt, water, science beaker, measuring spoons. Method 1. Put 500 milliliters of water into the beaker. 2. Place the egg in the beaker of water to see if it floats. 3. Take egg out of the water. 4. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and mix to dissolve the salt. 5. Place the egg back in the beaker of water to see if it floats. 6. Take egg out of the water. 7. Add a 2nd teaspoon of salt and mix to dissolve the salt. 8. Place the egg back in the beaker of water to see if it floats. 9. Take egg out of the water. 10. Add a 3rd teaspoon of salt and mix to dissolve the salt. 11. Place the egg back in the beaker of water to see if it floats. 12. Take egg out of the water. 13. Continue adding salt to the water, 1 teaspoon at a time, until the egg will float. Observations. When I put the egg in the water without salt, it sunk. Each time I tested to see if the egg would float after adding salt to the water, it would sink more slowly. After adding 9 teaspoons of salt to the water, the egg sunk to the bottom, but then started to float. After the 10th teaspoon of water, the egg did not drop to the bottom. Conclusion. I discovered that salt has helped things to float.
Did it float? It sunk. That's 1 teaspoon of salt. Does it float? It sinks. So this is 5 teaspoons of salt. Just about. Now we have 9 teaspoons of salt. Let's go up close. Is it floating? Looks like it's floating.
Yes, she did.
We have 10 teaspoons of salt. Is it floating, Nathan? Have a look down.
Yes.
There you go.
Discover that salt has helped things to float. Any questions?
Did you know that the egg would float?
I guessed that the egg would float in salty water and sink in tap water.
How many teaspoons of salt did it take to make the egg float?
After 10 teaspoons, it did not sink. After 9 teaspoons of salt, the egg sunk but popped up again. After 10 teaspoons, it did not sink.
Excellent. Thank you, Nathan. Yay!